Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. And this is number 3 in the Fire and Ice podcast series as we go back in time to the early warnings on this channel about the Electric Kingdom, which is now on full display, as well as the fire and ice aspect to all this, the rise of the electric prison. And all this is happening at the expense of your safety. This is the most recent breaking battery plant fire in Moss Landing, California. Let's take a look, you guys. This is our future.
Battery storage facilities in the world. In Moss Landing, this fire began just after 3 o'clock this afternoon.
3 o'clock this afternoon. By 4 o'clock, it looked like crews had things under control. But by 5:15, things changed dramatically. Smoke coming through vents in the roof, and then this fire exploded.
Action News 8 reporter Felix Cortez was live on scene when those flames went through the roof. He's got more for us right now. Felix?
Well, Dan, Aaron, I don't know if you saw this shot at the beginning of the show, but this is what it looks like now. And if it was the goal of firefighters to simply let this fire burn out, that appears to be what's happening at this time, nearly 8 hours after this fire started. But I want to caution that I said those same words at 5 o'clock when Dan, you and I were live, and I said this fire all but appears to be out. And then 15 minutes later, smoke started billowing out again from those vents. And then within half an hour, by 6 o'clock, this fire, as Aaron just said, had exploded into a huge inferno, sending a huge plume of smoke into the sky and just these large flames billowing.
So, Moss Landing, California, did he just say this was the largest battery plant in the world? Is this what he just said? Let's take a look here. Let's rewind this, because I think he said that. That would be pretty shocking, right? The largest battery plant in the world.
Through the roof. Now we want to show you what it looked like earlier.
Hold on, let's fix
this. This was shortly after the fire.
Fire tonight at one of the largest battery storage facilities in the world.
One of the largest battery storage facilities in the world. So there you heard it, confirmed. Now, here's the problem with all this, okay? They have sacrificed our safety to push this technology onto us. They're now putting this in school buses. School buses. And they have admitted, even the artificial intelligence has to admit, that this is one in a long list of battery plant fires, battery storage facilities. Vistra Plant, California, Morris Lithium battery fire, Frederickstown, Missouri battery plant fire, battery energy storage system fire, and on and on and on. Here are the list of electric school buses in many states, including California, New York, Illinois, Florida, and Pennsylvania. Thousands of children's school buses that are electric vehicles. Why are they pushing this on us? And will this change if Trump comes into office? Mark my words, it will not change. There will not be a sweeping removal of electric technology. In fact, it will fast track. In fact, it will fast track because people are stuck in the paradigm and won't demand accountability. Now, I did hear him say something about removing the rebate for electric vehicles. We'll see if he does that. We will see. But that's still not stopping all of this that's happening. Battery plants all over, waiting to explode, literally. Wow. Now, what else is going on? Well, the controllers need electricity because it can be easily controlled by a single brain without raising too much alarm. Now, when I say brain, I'm talking about the electric grid, the electric system that controls all this stuff. And then things can be blamed on fire safety, which is what they're doing in California. They're literally just turning off people's power, saying, oh, it's a high fire season, so we got to turn off the power lines because they can spark and cause a fire. Or they can just blame outages on foreign EMP attacks, blame China, blame Russia. Or they can just simply say, oh, we're trying to cut down on climate change and the burden on the grid, so we're just going to shut off certain sectors. So once everything goes electric, this is what we will be imprisoned by. You see, they can't easily toy with other sources of energy the way they do with electricity, can they? Because people start to revolt when gas prices get too high, or propane gets too high or unavailable, or heating oil. People say, you can't do that. And then they start blaming their politicians. But with the electric kingdom, they can control the electricity because electricity equals control, as I just explained. Now, in today's podcast, we're going to go back exactly 1 year on this channel to dig into exactly where the element lithium originates from. Because lithium was born out of fire and ice. Volcanoes, dormant volcanoes, is the main source of lithium in the world. Now, what you're going to see next essentially predicted the massive surge in lithium mining in America before it happened. Let's take a look. I'll put a link to this podcast for you guys in the pinned comment and description if you want to go ahead. But let's look and listen here. Throw the controllers off their game if they want to interrupt this broadcast. This will be a very, very important broadcast because I believe we've blown the lid off of the entire Burning Man ritual, going back to the beginning, because little did the people know who go to Burning Man, but they were literally dancing in the shadow of a massive super volcano full of lithium, just miles up from where they were. And the volcano requires one sacrifice per year. And that's exactly what's been happening over the last several decades of the Burning Man attendance. We're going to break all that down today and show you all of that. Also, there was a premiere yesterday afternoon, if you guys caught that. I'm going to play that now. I'm going to look at the premiere, break down those scenes a little bit better for you guys. It was a short premiere. It was about 4 minutes long. But suffice it to say, I Petcoat 2, the 2012 animated film literally depicted the burning of the Temple of the Heart, as well as the burning of the feet of the people that attended Burning Man. And it shows the Thunderdome from Burning Man with dancing partiers inside who are possessed by various gods. With a little g, of course. Let's first get into this clip from yesterday. And then after that, we're going to get into the movie Joe versus the Volcano, starring Tom Hanks, from 1990, which was 33 years ago. This is the video that we uploaded yesterday. It's called Why They Pulled Petcoat, the burning heart, the burning feet, and the spire falls again. Well, let's take a look. Now I'm going to turn the sound off just because I just have a soundtrack on here, so it really doesn't matter about the sound. But as you're going to see, all of this dust here, all around their feet, is alkaline. And I believe that it's probably full of lithium deposits from the volcano, in the very shadows of the volcano that they're dancing in. Now, some people were confused. They thought, what is this? They thought it was the movie Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. No, this is an actual structure at Burning Man 2023. And they actually call it Thunderdome. And they're dancing around in it. And they're also doing like a battle against each other. This is literally just from just a few days ago. And then it hit me why they may have taken iPad Go 2 down, because it literally shows the burning men in the Thunderdome 11 years before it happened. Look at this. Everybody remembers these scenes from iPad Go 2 under the dome with the fire pit in the middle, the burning man. But what we forgot was that these things came up out of the ground. We couldn't figure out what they were. Was it water? Was it fire? Maybe it was a little bit of both, coming up and burning the feet of the burning man. Feet on fire. Now, this is going to be very important to remember, this theme of the feet being on fire, because it means something. We'll get into that as the show progresses today. Now, this year's Burning Man was called the Temple of the Heart. There was a tent or a tabernacle in the center of 2023 Burning Man called the Temple of the Heart. And when Burning Man was over, as they always do, they lit it on fire. So it was literally the burning heart, the burning temple of the heart. We are the temple. Jesus was the temple. The burning heart of the Burning Man, literally, it manifested. Again, scenes from iPad Go 2, literally happening. This is the temple of the heart. And then the bombshell of yesterday's premiere. I'll put a link to it for those that have not seen it yet. About 9,000 of you have seen it so far. This is the temple of the heart. And this is them lighting it on fire. Remember a couple years ago, we discovered the spire of Notre Dame Cathedral, the church, and the spire fell over, and I did a side-by-side of iPad Go 2 in the church spire falling over and Notre Dame Cathedral and the church spire falling over. That side-by-side video went viral, not on our channel, but on other channels. Well, it's happened again. The Temple of the Heart, while it was on fire, the spire literally fell over. And when I did the side-by-side of this spire falling over, it literally nearly matched the scene in iPad Go 2. Now you see all these demigods dancing around in the Thunderdome. And what this represents to me are the various demons that possess people. And we all know about this. We hear people talking about these things. They're like, oh, I'm channeling Kali, or I'm channeling this person, or that, or this entity, or that entity. And people literally take on the persona. That has to be a form of demon possession. As these characters morph in and out and shapeshift in and out of different gods. This one, Kali, with the tongue sticking out, and there they are in the Thunderdome. And they literally call it the Thunderdome. They literally call it that at Burning Man this year. I think they have the Thunderdome every year, but this year is special. And then the spire falls. And I literally couldn't believe this. I was in shock. How could two events, the Notre Dame Cathedral and the Burning Man Temple of the Heart spire, how could they both fall and look almost exactly the same for those with spiritual eyes to see? And I couldn't believe it. And I knew I had to do a video for you guys yesterday. But watch this. This is the end of Burning Man. And there you see the feet on fire, which is exactly what's happening to the people at Burning Man. The alkali mud, they're saying, is burning their feet. Are these all just coincidences? I do not believe so. This is probably why they had to pull iPad Goat. It was too much truth. His eyes are on fire. Even the man is burning literally before our eyes. And in the backdrop is the church, the cathedral, the spire falling over. And as I said, we did the side-by-side that matched this falling spire with Notre Dame. And you can look it up right now. Notre Dame fire pet goat. And you'll see other people copied the video that we did. Look at this. The spire falls. Now watch what happened to the Temple of the Sacred, or the Temple of the Heart. Let me rewind that so you can see this. Now the thumbnail on yesterday's show, actually I outlined the profile of what you see in iPad code here, and the profile of the actual burning of the Temple of the Heart. And the profiles are very, very similar. Let's zoom in on this so you can see this really well. There it goes. There it goes. There it goes. The spire falls. Then fireballs come from the sun and destroy the pyramids. Now, there was a scene in Midsommar at the end where there was a pyramid that they lit on fire. And I think when we decoded Midsommar, we noted that. We said, this looks like iPad Code 2, the ending. I think we made that connection. And this was the end of iPad Code 2. Now, something else very weird happened at this year's Burning Man. There were literally pillars of fire by night, just like what led the tabernacle during the Exodus. Look at this. Pillars of fire by night spawned out of the giant Burning Man effigy. Look at this. They're literally on fire. This is a real video right here on YouTube. This happened, I think they uploaded this about 2 or 3 days ago. There were literally 2 of them. Look at that, another one. You can't make it up. Let me check in with you guys. Jaw dropper. Now you know why I titled the video, Why Pat Goat Got Taken Down. Because the imagery is almost so exact that maybe they realized they had gone too far and watched more people be woken up than the sorcery would affect, right? Now, if you can believe this, the 1990 movie, Joe and the Volcano from 33 years ago, literally shows much of the same imagery. I knew I had to decode this film. Well, let's just start with the opening. Let's just show you this film. This is unbelievable. Watch this.
All man's made out of muscle and blood and skin and bone. A mind that's sweet and a back that's Some people say a man is made out of mud.
A man is made out of mud as they trudge through the mud. This was from 33 years ago. Tom Hanks, as he's walking into his prison, a pharmaceutical company that makes rectal examination equipment and lube. The front looks like Molech. Look at this. It even looks like the tattoo that we saw in Moana on the rock's chest when we flipped it upside down. I should probably do a side-by-side. Look at this. Look at the teeth and everything and the eyes. Now, what makes this even more creepy is there are 10 lanes. Now, I'm going to pause myself. We're back in 2025 again. And it is clear now that that image is Tlaloc, which is just a variation on Molech, because Tlaloc demanded fire sacrifice, just like Molech did. And the names sound so familiar, they must be the same god, right? This is where Tom Hanks goes to work. Let me check in with you guys. You guys are probably going, what the heck? How did I miss this video? Well, that's why we go back and look at the past so we can show you guys the truth. Because a lot of people are new. They don't see that we've already been warning about all this stuff. Good morning, everybody. You guys ready to keep going? Probably another 30 minutes left in this re-upload from last year. We're now in 34 years, but this was uploaded last year, and when I uploaded it was 33 years. So, okay. Let's let this chat catch up for a minute, and then we'll keep playing this. Insane. Joe versus the Volcano. Okay, let's keep going. Just like in the Exodus from Burning Man, as they're all trudging through the mud to go be slaves. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, And the last one, 10. Exactly 10 lanes of traffic.
Those 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older.
And as you can see, in the wake of the Burning Man event, with the 10 lanes of traffic, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I had to decode this film. I was not expecting to see this, but there it is. What is happening here? Is this Project Looking Glass? Can these people see the future? Let's keep watching here. Now, at this point, Tom Hanks goes into company lockdown. Exactly what happened at Lahaina and Burning Man. The lockdown.
I was born one morning on my soul to the company store, fighting in trouble. My middle name.
He steps in the mud again, and it's all about selling his soul to the company, the pharmaceutical company. And then he does the unthinkable.
In the cane grapevine, no mama line. I was born one morning, it was drizzling rain.
The rain.
Woman made me walk the line. You load 16 tons, deeper in debt.
He does the Burning Man pose.
You don't call me 'cause I can't go. Oh.
Then he meets Meg Ryan, who he works with. And she asks him what he's doing. And he says he's losing his soul.
Good morning, Dee Dee.
Hi, Joe. What's with the shoe?
I'm losing my soul.
Yeah.
What's this lamp for?
Then, the very next scene, Tom Hanks mentions the fluorescent light. Again, another symbol that appeared in the movie Moana. The fluorescent light.
There's not enough light in here for you?
The fluorescents affect me. They make me feel blotchy, puffy. I thought this light.
And how long have you felt this way?
Well, pretty much since I left the fire department. I feel puffy, blotchy. I never seem to have very much energy. I keep getting these little sore throats. I really just don't feel very good.
So, Tom Hanks goes to the doctor. And of course, reveals his former occupation, a fireman, literally a burning man. And I was thinking about this losing your soul and what he meant by that. And one of you thought that you may have figured that out. You thought that maybe the people at Burning Man that were, their soles of their feet were being burnt. You thought that maybe that was a spiritual significance. That losing the sole of their feet meant losing their soul. That literally that's what was happening. Tom Hanks goes to the doctor. He reveals that he was a fireman or a burning man. And the doctor tells him that he has an incurable brain cloud. And he has 6 months to live. Watch.
What did you do in the fire department?
Well, I put out fires. Something wrong with my blood or my urine?
No, they're fine. You have a brain cloud.
Brain cloud?
There's a black fog of tissue running right down the center of your brain.
Listen to what he just said. You have a black fog of tissue running right down the center of your brain. And that's when all the lights went on. Because I realized we had seen that before on the chalkboard of I, Pet, Goat 2. Now this is groundbreaking because this image that you're seeing underneath the chalkboard in I, Pet, Goat 2 is the image that has become the symbol of the movie Joe versus the Volcano. It appears several times in the film. It is the logo of the actual company that he works for, as you can see at the top of your screen. This is the walkway going into the company. And, oops, let's back up here. I can't even barely present this to you guys right now. I'm like shaking. And when Joe goes to sacrifice himself to the volcano, the pathway up to the volcano has the same image. In fact, even inside of his apartment on the wall, the same image appears as plaster falling away from the wall. At this point, Tom Hanks quits his job because he's so angry about how he's being used. He tells it off his boss.
It's incurable.
Yes.
$300 a week. That's the news. For $300 a week, I've lived in this sink, this used rubber.
Watch it, mister.
Not that anybody could look good under these zombie lights. I can feel them sucking the juice out of my eyeball. Suck, suck, suck.
Then the more fluorescent light mentions. He says the fluorescent lights are sucking the juice out of his eyeballs. Remember the little boy that we reported on who received the antiviral, and they said that his eyes changed color. They turned to blue from brown. And in that article, they said some people's eyes turned fluorescent. What do you think Tom Hanks is talking about here? Let me play that back. Unbelievable.
Not that anybody could look good under these zombie lights. I can feel them sucking the juice out of my eyeball. Suck, 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 suck. I bribed them.
Then, after Tom Hanks quits his job, we get a direct reference. As I said yesterday would probably be the case. Remember? I said there would be a direct reference to the heart. Something happening to the heart. As they're at dinner, listen to what he says next.
To sing us a song that would drive us insane and make our hearts swell and burst.
Swell and burst as he tips the glass of wine, which is blood, of course. Let me check in with you guys. Some of you guys are probably blown away, especially if you're new to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. This is groundbreaking information. We're going to break down what Burning Man actually is. It's actually a giant volcano sacrifice. We're going to break that down as well. But please thumbs up the video. It gets the algorithms, forces them to send out the notifications so everybody can tune into the show. Now, Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks leave the restaurant. And they walk by a movie poster that says Fire in Paradise. And the reason why I know it's a movie poster because down below it says Technicolor, which is what they used to put on the old movies, as they walk out of the restaurant. Now I want you to also notice the flowers, the roses in the windows of the restaurant, because this links directly back in to Burning Man and the Temple of the Heart. This is it right here, the Temple of the Heart from Burning Man, and there you see the roses all throughout the temple before it was burned to the ground. And if the heart is self-explanatory. That Tom Hanks just mentioned bursting. There's the wide-angle view of the Temple of the Heart before it went up in flames. And this is when it went up in flames. Now, at one point in the film, some weird dude shows up.
To sing us a song that would drive us insane and make our hearts swell and burst.
This guy. And he goes to Joe's apartment and he offers him a job in superconductors. He tells him if he'll jump off and sacrifice himself in a volcano, that he will give him money until he dies. And he'll be... Listen very carefully. We're back in 2025 now. The superconductor. This is what Trump's been talking about. Right? And the lithium comes out of the volcanoes. This has been in the works for a very long time. Let's go back to this. Able to be a rich man for a while before he dies. Now, watch this.
To jump into a volcano. There's an island in the South Pacific called Waponi Wu. The name means the little island with a big volcano. Unless once every 100 years he is appeased. There's that big volcano. They call it the Big Wu.
The Big Wu, Han.
They believe that an angry fire god in the volcano will sink the island. It's been 99 years, 11 months, and 11 days.
What? There you heard it. This was in 1990, 11 years before 9/11. 99 years, 11 months, 11 days.
Since the fire god got his properties, and believe me, I've looked, because without Boobaloo, I can't make my superconductors.
Now, let's break these scenes down. He wants to make these superconductors, right? But he needs Joe to sacrifice himself so he can get this element called Boobaloo. And this just reeks of the story of Prometheus, right? Giving fire, the gods giving man fire for technology, or man receiving technology for a sacrifice to the gods, right? And that's what this is essentially about. This is about alien demon technology given to humans, but they have to offer a sacrifice back to the demons, back to the devil himself. And this has gone on since the dawn of man, hasn't it? This is how humanity receives our technology. We did some deep dives early on in this channel, 11 years ago, interestingly enough. And we talked about some of these major companies and how these technological advancements just came out of nowhere. We talked about things like spandex and supercomputing technology. It just appeared out of nowhere. And there was always some cover story. But really, it came from the fallen ones. Now, this film came out 11 years and 6 months before Blind 11. Here's the math. March 9th, 1990 to 9/11/2001. 11 years and 6 months and 2 days. Maui was known as the heart, or Lahaina was known as the heart of Maui, the heart of Hawaii. There was actually a heart-shaped rock formation that broke apart. Maui's famous heart-shaped rock is now heartbroken and gone. This was a precursor of the ritual that they knew was coming. The heart was broken. Here's a location of where the heart broke, and here's Lahaina next to it, just not too far up the coastline. Back of the head, front of the head. Okay, let's get refocused here. I got off on track there. Now, 11 years and 6 months before 9/11, and then 19 years after 9/11, we had Wuhan and COVID-19, didn't we? You can't make this up. In fact, ready for this? Meg Ryan's birthday is 9/11 backwards, 11/19/61. Basically, her birthday forms a giant mirror, 11191961. It's all 9 6s and 1s. And remember, Burning Man sits at 119 degrees latitude. So, this sent me on a rabbit hole trail. And I decided to dig into this whole thing a little bit more. This whole thing about superconductors and volcanoes. Because they gave us a clue in this movie, didn't they? In Joe versus the Volcano. And with a simple search, I found out that there's actually a giant ancient volcano just uphill from Burning Man. And it is full of superconducting and very alkaline element lithium, used for electric cars. Look at this. Lithium is the lightest elemental metallic and superconducting system. Well, let's keep watching. This is unbelievable. There's the alkalinity of lithium between 10 and 11. It is the very first alkali compound in the periodic table. Lithium is derived from the word lithos.
I can't make my superconductors.
Desert of Nevada in the northern desert of Nevada, and yet we find people camping in tents, braving these harsh conditions as an act of resistance against proposed mining for lithium in that extinct volcano.
I can't make my superconductors.
This is where self-described radical environmentalist Max Wilbert is spending the night. What are you doing out here?
Blowing up a mountain for coal mining is wrong. I think blowing up a mountain for lithium mining is just as wrong.
In the Nevada desert, this site known as Thacker Pass could make the United States.
This is Thacker Pass. Now we're back in 2025. And I'm interjecting into this because now you're starting to see the big picture. The last days electric kingdom. Now, when I uploaded this video, it was mocked and scorned and made fun of. But now here we are. And Trump is admitting all this. And lithium is now front page news. Lithium mines going up all over the United States. Battery plants, lithium battery plants everywhere catching fire. They come out of volcanoes. Now, notice how they are going to frame this. This guy that you're going to see next, or you just saw a little glimpse of him, he's a hardcore liberal. And he believes we should all go back to riding bicycles. Because even he realizes that lithium mines are a million times more toxic than getting oil out of the ground. Just by the sheer footprint of it all. And the sulfuric acid that's created in the lithium mining process. And look at the proximity. Just uphill from Burning Man. Now, that looks like a short distance, but it's actually about 80 miles away. Now, hold on. Let me continue my thought here. And so this is how Trump is going to frame anyone that's against the electric kingdom, right? He'll call us hardcore liberals, even though we're much more conservative than him because we think we should just get rid of electric and go back to gas exclusively. Let's keep watching here. But it's in the same vein. You can see it clearly. In other words, if you're standing at Burning Man and look up, hold on, just found something else. There's the winged serpent, or not, this is the Egyptian iconography. Can't believe I missed this the first time. This is the layout of Burning Man. This is how they arrange everybody when they show up. And it's definitely the winged iconography from Egyptian mythology. Let's keep watching here. It's about a 2,000 foot elevation. You could probably see the silhouette of Burning Man, of this extinct volcano full of lithium. Remember, lithium is very alkaline. And they're saying that the people's feet are being burnt from the mud because of the alkaline mud. Are the two connected? The single sacrifice per year for the volcano so they can have their superconductor, lithium.
A player in the fast-growing market for lithium for electric vehicles. Lithium is a metal used to make batteries for electric vehicles and is critical to the clean energy transition. There's currently only one lithium-producing mine in the United States, located halfway between Reno and Las Vegas. The majority of the world's lithium is mined in Australia and South America. Protesters have rotated in and out of this encampment for the past 11 months. They say what...
Did you see that? Look at the sign.
Mine in the United States, located halfway between Reno and Las Vegas. The majority of the world's lithium is mined in Australia and South America. Protesters.
Welcome to Rihi Muha. Like Maui or Moana. What the heck? Guys, this is the Matrix.
Have rotated in and out of this encampment for the past 11 months. They say what will become the largest federally approved lithium mining project operating in the U.S. comes at an environmental cost.
Producing one electric car releases something like 9 tons of greenhouse gases on average.
Now, we've been saying this, the hypocrisy. In order to create one of these cars, literally it's more than several lifetimes of what a normal car would produce in the entirety of a normal gasoline car. The problem is you'll notice very quickly, they're already establishing the right-left paradigm with this issue. They've got the extremist, which is the guy sitting at the mouth of the volcano. He'll probably be sacrificed at some point. They'll say he died from the cold. That'll be the setup. They'll say, oh, he died from extreme, conditions. That'll be the sacrifice of the volcano. But the paradigm that they're setting up here is the extremist who basically he wants all of us to just be in 15-minute cities and not have any vehicles. But then the rich guy who wants to mine all this lithium, he's going to the other extreme. Watch.
The whole issue of electric vehicles and lithium mining is tricking us into believing that we can have this modern industrial lifestyle that we all enjoy.
See, he wants us all, oh, you can't get in your SUV and drive anymore. Just sit in your 15-minute city.
And also solve global warming.
It's not going to solve any climate change problem, but it's a major contribution.
Lithium mining in the state of Nevada has pitted environmentalists against other environmentalists. Glenn Miller, a former professor of environmental science at the University of Nevada, Reno, supports the mine. He says it will cut carbon emissions from the transportation sector, a major source of greenhouse gases.
So, do you see the right-left paradigm there? So they've divided the environmentalists into two camps. They always have to do this. Right? The answer is not either. The answer is we're just fine with gasoline. Why start carving up the earth for lithium that is very deadly, as I just explained to you? Why do it?
Radical environmentalists are going to argue that the only way to solve the climate change problem is to drive a whole lot less. I mean, a whole lot less. And to not burn gasoline or coal. Well, that's not going to happen.
He says not transitioning to electric vehicles is far more dangerous to humanity. The CEO for mining company Lithium Americas acknowledges operations produce some CO2, but it's offset by electric vehicles' zero tailpipe emissions.
There's an ability here to mitigate,
make a lot of money,
and do things as sustainable as possible.
Back in the desert, Wilbert is willing to risk it all to stop any mining on this site.
You're willing to, if this project moves forward, throw your bodies in between.
He's willing to sacrifice himself to the volcano.
Mining machinery to prevent it. Sounds a bit extreme. Do you mean that?
Our laws haven't caught up with the reality of what's happening to our planet, and so people might have to break the law in order to change what's happening.
The mining company Lithium Americas faces legal challenges.
Let me check in with you guys, because this is a lot of information, but I believe this is the answer to everything and what Burning Man has represented from the very beginning. Wow. Let's finish up Joe versus the volcano. Now, as I said earlier, this bubaru, which is the element which we've now pretty much discovered is probably code for lithium, but it also sounds a lot like bubos or bubonic plague, which would cause a grievous sore, wouldn't it?
There's a mineral on that island, Mr. Banks. It's called bubaro. I don't know anywhere else on the planet where you can find more than a gram of this stuff.
He needs the bubaro for his superconductor, which is lithium is also needed for superconductors. We know that lithium would cause a grievous sore on the soles of your feet in the mud. They're preparing us for this. Whoa, look at the shower curtain. 3 hexagons, 666. Let's keep watching. So, now, this whole thing of Tom Hanks sacrificing himself to the volcano, it's a scam. Tom Hanks isn't even really sick. The doctor who diagnosed him was hired by this billionaire to trick him so that he could get Tom Hanks to sacrifice himself, appease the people on the island, and then get all the bubaro he wants for himself to build his superconductors.
Yours, if you take the job. It'll be 20 days from today before you have to actually jump into the volcano.
So he bribes Tom Hanks. He says, I'll make you a rich man for the few days, for the 20 days that you have left on this earth, if you'll just jump into the volcano. And Tom Hanks thinks it's hopeless anyways, because he thinks that his condition is incurable. So he receives a bunch of credit cards so that he can feel rich.
Can I rent a limousine for the day? Great. Does a driver come with that? Great. Do you rent anything else? So where would you like to go?
So, Tom, most of the middle of this film is Tom Hanks on this journey. He's on a journey to the island. He goes by plane, by boat, by limousine, and he buys 4 different trunks, 4 large trunks. He buys all these clothes and suits, and this reminded me of The Burning Man, how everyone journeys to this one location, right? Journey to the volcano. And this is exactly what Tom Hanks does in the movie. Now, weirdly, and I don't really quite know how all of this fits in, but Meg Ryan, as you see here on the right, she plays several different roles in the film, and they drastically change her appearance. But he plays Tom Hanks' coworker first. I didn't even recognize her in that role. And then this woman, which is the daughter of the billionaire, and then also her sister, which is also the daughter of the billionaire. And it's 3 different women. And I'm going to go in the chat and ask you guys what you think after I show you this clip of the different roles that Meg Ryan plays. Remember, her birthday is 11191961.
Can I ask you something?
What?
Why are you dressed like Jungle Jim?
Why did you talk to me so snotty back on the dock?
That's her as the sister. Blonde hair, the other one red hair. And as his coworker, she had brown hair. So we had brown, red, and blonde hair. What do you guys think that means? Because I could not wrap my brain around this, about what this means. Now, there is a part in the film where Tom Hanks buys an umbrella, and I almost wasn't going to mention it, but it may fit in to this whole, I don't know, I got like a clone vibe from it, like a clone vibe, but then also you always see her under the umbrella. And maybe that's the poker, because remember, the umbrella is the poker. Maybe that's what it is. But let's see what your guys' thoughts are on what could it mean that she transforms into these different roles. Sheldon says that. All right, you guys. So I will put a link to the rest of this podcast that you just listened to. We're back in 2025 now. And yeah, you guys remember that show? Why did I keep saying 2023 in the show? Maybe it was Burning Man 2023, not 2024. I think it was. It was Burning Man 2023. So what a trip, right? And it's crazy how we look back over some of our stuff and we catch even more stuff. So okay, I'm back in the chat for a little bit, you guys. I don't want to overwhelm you with too much information. If you're interested in watching the rest of that show, I'll put a link. Now, tomorrow is going to be a fun show because we're going to talk about Trump's three stooges that he just hired out of Hollywood to be ambassadors for the new golden age in Hollywood. Trump called it. Wow. We're going to break them down because there's lots to see. Sylvester Stallone, John Voight, and Mel Gibson, the three stooges. And wow. That's what's going to be. That's going to be on tomorrow's show. Let's see, what else do I have pulled up for tomorrow? They're rebuilding the California homes already. And I think that's it for tomorrow. Oh, they're canceling heaven. Canceling heaven. So we're going to talk about that topic. They don't want anybody trying to visualize what heaven might be like, because that would break Jesus' rule that he told us, right? Which is to keep our eyes fixed on the concept of heaven. So I'm back in the chat, you guys. All right. Yeah, there is no good in Hollywood. If you're reading about somebody on the news in Hollywood, then they've already been compromised, because they wouldn't waste their time and carve up your attention span on someone that they weren't already using to mind control you. So, yep, never-ending nonsense. You nailed it. The different women also seem to reflect his changing outlook. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty shocking. It's pretty exact. Literally, Tom Hanks goes into a volcano so that he can be a sacrifice, so that a billionaire can get a superconductor material, which is literally exactly what's happening now. As they are going into dormant volcanoes. Now, I do a follow-up show on this, and at some point, we'll do another podcast, number 4. But I like to break it up a little bit so you guys don't get too overwhelmed. But I know for a fact in one of those videos, I actually showed you guys all of the dormant volcanoes where they're starting these lithium mines. And I showed a map of the United States. So, you know, I'm not making all this up. And we actually showed where the lithium sits in the dormant volcano, because it's in a specific part of the volcano. So, guess what? There's one near Asheville, North Carolina, where all the fires just happened. Or the floods, I'm sorry. Not the fires. And we actually called out that place on the map before the floods happened. We said, this is a place to watch. Remember? So, all right. What else is going on, you guys? All right. Oh, it's Rebecca's birthday. Cool. All right, you guys, I'm going to pop off of here. I love each and every one of you. And we got snow coming in tomorrow, so maybe I'll get some more snow footage for you guys. Maybe I'll get some footage of it falling. But it's supposed to be as much or more than we got last time. Most of the snow is melted off the ground already from the last snowstorm a couple weeks ago. And so this is going to be fun. All right, you guys, I love you. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Much love.